Welcome to Maths Bridge. Let's learn JavaScript. JavaScript is a part of web development. We have been seeing the web development, basically consists of a front end and then back end, right? Front end development wherein we have gone through HTML and a certain portion of the CSS. Now we're going to look at a JavaScript, how JavaScript can be leveraged for creating a dynamic web-based development. Let's get started. JavaScript is a lightweight interpreted means like a just-in-time compiled high-level programming language. JavaScript is a high-level programming language. It is a lightweight interpreted language. Since we are using this a part of a web development, we also call it as a scripting language for web pages. Okay, so JavaScript is like well known for web page development. JavaScript is a prototype-based, multi-paradigm, single-threaded, dynamic language supporting object-oriented, imperative, and declarative, styles. So, JavaScript is primarily used for creating a dynamic and interactive, website development. Make a point of it. JavaScript is one of the core technologies of the web development alongside HTML, CSS. So HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and put together for developing a dynamic web page development. That's the beauty of JavaScript. Initially designed for the web browsers, but JavaScript is now widely used for the server-side programming, mobile apps, gaming development, etc. So this is a kind of like an overview of like in a JavaScript, okay, at high level. If you look at a contextual architecture, it is a client-server model. Server is basically a place where we deploy the developed the web components. Client from which you will be accessing a server to fetch the content to be displayed on the web browser. When you say web browser, you might very much familiarized with this, like IE Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, Firefox, these are called web browsers. Every personal laptop, desktops, or mobile phones have this web browser. By default comes with your basic installation. You don't need to precisely, explicitly, install them. I mean, right? So, client is always like an ask question, server is gonna respond to this, the client ask. Client is act like a master, server is like a kind of a slave in terms that you can think of it. But coming to the web development, we were talking about a client side development and server side development, right? Server side development, what we can call it as a backend development. Client side means like is a front end development. In the front end development, we use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which we know that HTML5, CSS3, and JavaScript. HTML primarily used for like a static content, presentation on your, front end, like a UI interface. Web UI is what I can call it as. Now, adding styles to that content displayed on the web page is what we need is like a CSS. Okay, cascading style sheet 3 is what we use along with HTML5, right? Styles the content like a beautification of the whatever the HTML with which you are displaying on the web page. Now, why would you need a JavaScript? JavaScript which we use it for like an user interactions, like a dynamic page, development, content, dynamic content display on the screen. Like how it is going to be, achievable, because JavaScript is a programming language. That means like you can add logics, in your code. So on condition based, display can be done through JavaScript. So the combination of like HTML, CSS, JavaScript together, with which you can create a dynamic web page development. Got it? That's the kind of like overview of how HTML, CSS, JavaScript can be leveraged for the web development. Prerequisites for the JavaScript. In order you to actually start learning the JavaScript, it would be nice if you could actually have some kind of a basic knowledge of HTML and CSS, understanding web structures and then styling, how it actually helps to actually creating your web page. If if you would know those things, and so ideally it's a good start for you to learning a JavaScript. That's an idea. Since we are talking about a JavaScript as a programming language, so familiarity with the basic programming concepts, basically like a logical thinking, how to use like a conditions, like how do you use like a branching, how do you actually use like a loopings, how do you use like a selections, how the syntax, what are all the basic things, programming techniques that I would be knowing, so that I can actually start with writing like a dynamic behavior, based out of your logic, right? This is why the prerequisites for the Java programming is what we would say that knowing a basic knowledge of HTML and CSS, and the logical thinking of thinking in writing a basic programming concepts. All right, so far we have seen already HTML and CSS part. So now you will be adding actually the programming concepts to it, so that you will see the more fun of like how interactive websites can be built. We are very happy and most exciting to inform you, all my happy learners and first time visitors, our Mathspace knowledge corpus is get growing day by day. Please do visit us our YouTube channel Mathspace, www.youtube.com at Mathspace. Sure thing is some takeaway as far as knowledge concern. Okay, please do subscribe the channel and support us. Please drop a message, we'll get back. If you look at a key features of JavaScript is basically used for like a client side, so we can call it as a client side programming. Okay, runs directly in a browser without needing any server. That is straightforward. Next part is like a dynamic typing, so no need to declare any variables types explicitly. So like if you can think of like in a Java, C++, where you are actually declaring the variable type like an integer, character, float, double, things like that, right? But JavaScript, in which you don't require to actually declare any type of the variable, but dynamically, you see like how it is going to be leveraged. The variable can be leveraged to hold the value of type that you would like to, right? If you can actually start writing the program, that you will get to know why we can call it as a dynamic typing. The next important feature of JavaScript is like a event driven. So response to the user actions like a clicks, key presses, those kind of things can be built using JavaScript. So event driven is one of the key feature of the JavaScript. Next thing is like interoperability, works seamlessly with other web technologies. Asynchronous programming handles tasks like API calls without blocking other process. This is one of the and a very good feature. Synchronous communication and asynchronous communication. Synchronous communication where you are going to actually block the a certain portion of your web page, where it kind of like you end up actually feel like freezing that the page loading. But asynchronous communication where certain things actually happens like in the real time, so without blocking any other processes, you will be doing this part. Let me ask one thing, like why would I need to learn JavaScript? I think most of us having the same question, right? I know one part, I think we are talking about like it is a part of web development, so you would be needing it. But precisely if you would ask, the key answer would be, high demand. So when the skill is at a high demand, that means like you will be getting like, more opportunities in that area. So definitely the sure thing for you to actually learn JavaScript is one of the essential skill set to have, right? So JavaScript is one of the most popular programming languages and highly sought after in the tech industry. Next thing is like a versatility. It can be used for the front-end development and back-end development. Once you learn the JavaScript, you can write certain things on the front end as a front-end skill set. You can also extend your skill set to work on back-end. So you will be getting an opportunity to work in front-end and back-end if you would know JavaScript programming language. So isn't it good? So next thing is like rich ecosystem. So JavaScript has an extensive ecosystem, including libraries like a React, Vue, and also frameworks like a Node.js and Angular. And community support, oh my god, so community support is like very good, very large active community, ensures an abundant learning resources and a troubleshooting help. If you stuck somewhere else, I think you will be getting help easily. That's why like this is a most motivated the programming language for the web development, for you to learn, basically what I'm meant to say. Next thing is like an interactive websites. So mastering a JavaScript allow you to create a interactive and engaging user experiences. So that's why I would always like think like JavaScript is one of my favorite programming language. I would definitely need to learn, and then I would actually want to create like interactive websites for the user experiences. Use of JavaScript will be used in websites and web and mobile apps, desktop applications, game development, single page applications, data visualizations, interactive user experiences, serverless functions, AI applications, and many more. You can find out n number of use cases where how JavaScript can be leveraged to create a those kind of apps. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, click on bell icon and leave the comments. Happy learning. Thank you. Stay tuned to upcoming sessions.